So like a lot of other people, I've seen the Barbie movie. And like a lot of other people, I was really moved by America Ferrera's big speech. And it got me thinking about some of the contradictions of being a plus size person. So I wanted to shout them into the void. You have to like yourself, but not too much because that's glorifying obesity, but not too little because then you have low self-esteem. And who's ever going to like you if you don't like yourself? You have to date, but you can't reject anyone because you should be grateful that anyone is giving you any kind of attention or being attracted to you. But you also can't settle because then you don't value yourself. You can't complain that you're fat because it's your fault that you're fat. But then when you bring up things like PCOS, hormonal issues, eating disorders, then you're just making excuses. You have to eat, but not too much because people are going to point it out if you eat too much. But if you eat too little, then people are going to congratulate you on starving yourself and trying to lose weight. You have to eat, but not salads because who are you kidding? But also not a burger because then you're just a stereotype. You have to be okay with people making fun of you, mostly behind your back. But then the second that you laugh at yourself or make fun of yourself, they're going to be angry because you're taking away some of their power by laughing at yourself and seeing that you are the joke, and they can't take power from that if you're willing to laugh at yourself. You have to be okay with how often skinny people throw on fat suits just to be funny, and how most of the time skinny actors are hired and put into fat suits instead of fat actors being hired. You have to be put together and not sloppy because then you're just another part of the stereotype of being fat and lazy. But you also can't complain about the price that you pay for plus size clothing. You just have to be grateful that there's plus size clothing at all, even though a lot of the time it's only online. And God forbid you do lose weight, because then you'll realize that people treat you better as a skinny person than they ever did as a fat person. And on top of all of that, which I haven't even covered in this video, you can make a video venting some of your frustrations, and people will crawl out of the woodwork and go out of their way to make nasty comments to you. And yet they'll say that thin privilege isn't a thing while they are actively trying to make you feel bad about existing and being fat in this world. There are people who don't want fat people like me to exist. And that in and of itself is enough to make you feel a little bit worthless. But I do exist, and I'm not going anywhere.
But there are also people who don't want my channel to exist. Just don't whine and try to improve and better yourself. Don't be delusional. There is nothing to accept about fat.
I cried watching the Barbie movie because I've never felt pretty.
I could listen to this all day cause I've never been able to put words to it.
Nobody is born obese. Instead, weight gain has a tendency to sneak up on us.
Yeah, no, I don't really do much.
But you're a garden fairy!
Ironic, isn't it?
Undereating or eating at irregular times can also cause weight gain. Feel ya sis, you're beautiful.
If you don't eat enough, you're gaining weight too.
Apparently the one meal has at least 3,000 calories.
For a very small number of obese individuals, there is a clear genetic cause for their weight. Up to 5% of extreme obesity starting in childhood can be traced back to mutations in the gene encoding the melanocortin-4 receptor.
So because I won't tell you why I'm fat, you think that I'm now mentally ill or it's a mental condition, when I've talked about my mental struggles and my mental illnesses on here anyway. And first you want to go and make fun of my body, you want to say you don't want to look at me, and then now you're making fun of my mental health? What is wrong with you? Like, why are you so miserable that you need to project all of this nonsense onto me, a person existing on the internet that has nothing to do with you? Like, I just don't comprehend that. You are the one who needs to get help, sweetie. Okay? And you're the one who needs to stop bothering strangers on the internet because you can't deal with your stuff yourself.
Stop it. Get some help.
I'm fat because I love food and I'm not gonna live my life hungry, so WTF of it? Lol.
Fact. Mothers who have a BMI greater than 35 had a 23% greater risk of having a baby with malformations than those with a normal BMI.
Gwen, what's wrong?
I got shiny pants!
And what's wrong with your shiny pants?
Someone could have a duck in my cooter!
And what did you learn, Gwenna?
There's a reason it's hard to find shiny pants for girls who can start a fire with their thigh!
You wear those pants and have your kids wear some of those squeaky shoes, lol. You can be your own little band.
This is the reason I don't wear pleather or similar pants. Sat down and foof. It wasn't me.
Fact. In most countries, obesity kills more people than starvation does.
Let's talk about diets that don't work. Keto was made for epileptic children. Intermittent fasting is just a fun way of saying I'm starving myself. Juice cleanses are just a really expensive way to drink your fruit instead of eat it. Any MLM 30-day detox bullshit is just a way to shit your pants and spend a lot of money. Noom is basically MyFitnessPal, but you're just paying more for it, and they pretend to have a psychological component, but really it's just health coaches that have no background on nutrition. Calorie restriction, or just restricting food in general, works until you become really fucking hungry and end up eating everything in sight and develop a horrible relationship with food. Whole30 is just a fancy way of restricting yourself for 30 days and then binging out of control on day 31. So if you want advice from a registered dietitian, dieting literally doesn't work, and 2/3 of dieters will gain more weight than they originally lose. You're best off creating a healthy relationship with food and learning how to trust your body again. Intuitive eating.
But don't obese people eat intuitively?
1 year on keto, then 2 years low carb. Lost half my weight and have kept it off. Why don't we just let people do what works for them? Not y'all trying to argue with someone who has a degree in this.
Obesity fact. Babies born to obese mothers are more likely to be large at birth, a phenomenon called macrosomia.
Why sleep in separate rooms? The reason we sleep in separate rooms, okay, is because I snore heavily. I'm like... And then literally Sienna's like, oh my God, can you stop, please? Just get up, I'm so done, that's it, leave. So we thought, you know what, we've got 5 bedrooms, we might as well utilise them. Do you know what I mean? So she sleeps in one, I sleep in another one. Everyone's happy, we get a good night's sleep, we've got a healthy relationship, we love each other very much. Get over it, you know, I mean, it is what it is. A lot of people do it, and a lot of people have a happy marriage forever and ever. I've already mentioned this many times before, it doesn't mean everything. You know, we still have central times. We'll still have the naughty little, like, you know, we have the fun times still, okay? Don't get too emotional, trolls. I know it's true. Yeah, I know it's hard. But yeah, basically, we just sleep in separate rooms because it's better for our marriage. It's better for everyone to have a good night's sleep. I mean, let's be honest. No one wants to keep getting woken up every 10 seconds by me snoring or by her waking me up saying, get up. You know what I mean? It's just no need. There's no need. Just sleep in separate bedrooms. It'll be a healthy marriage for you and everything.
Snoring and obstructive sleep apnea are 2 health risks associated with overweight and obesity.
They don't make beds big enough, unfortunately.
That's what she tells you.
What can obesity lead to? Heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer, gynecological and sexual problems.